And welcome to This Is Now. There is no threat to Hawaii, but another major earthquake had Pacific tsunami officials on alert this morning. A 7.8 magnitude quake struck off the east coast of Russia in Kamchatka. Again, there is no tsunami threat to Hawaii. Drew Davis has our first alert forecast. Drew.
Aloha, Mark. Again, we just want to reiterate that there is no tsunami threat for Hawaii, but let's take a look at that earthquake that happened earlier this morning. We want to move up towards the northwest, towards the Kamchatka Peninsula, the same area that had this earthquake, the same fault line that caused the tsunami warning back at the end of July. It was a magnitude 7.8. It had a depth of around 12.1 miles below the surface. A very large earthquake out there. Breaking down some of the magnitudes out there, a 8. We typically see one of those about once a year. Again, we had that large earthquake at the end of July triggering the tsunami warning for us here in Hawaii. This was a 7.8. About 18 of those happen per year. It's the energy equivalent of about 1 billion pounds of TNT detonating below the surface. Again, just as a reminder, again, there's no threat, but it's always a good idea to be familiar with the differences in the watch, the advisory, and the warning. The watch is typically put up directly after a large earthquake, and the warning is the one that you need to be aware of. That's when we're expecting widespread inundation. Of course, we have the evacuation zones ready to go to show you in case we do see something like this, but you can always find it and just be aware as we're going forward. We'll have more information on the local forecast coming up.
Thank you very much, Drew. A man who killed his housemate in Kalihi will not be charged with murder. In their investigation, Honolulu prosecutors determined the 27-year-old man acted in self-defense when he was approached by Maria Bolter, who was armed with a knife at a home on Olomea Street. This was on Monday night. Now, the 57-year-old Bolter suffered multiple stab wounds and died at the scene. With charges declined, prosecutors have closed their case. Police are searching for the gunman who opened fire and nearly shot a man near Kahana Bay just before noon yesterday. HPD says the 48-year-old suspect then struck the victim on the head, knocking him unconscious. An attempted murder investigation is now open. No word on the victim's condition or a description of the suspect. Hawaii Island police are asking for help identifying this man. He's wanted in connection with a series of unauthorized withdrawals at multiple ATMs in the Hilo area. One withdrawal was made at a bank on Waianuenue Avenue between 3 and 4 in the morning on August 29th. The suspect is believed to be in his late 40s or early 50s and is described as more than 5 feet 6 inches tall. If you recognize him, you're asked to contact police at the number on your screen. A convicted Kauai killer will remain behind bars for the rest of his life. The Hawaii Supreme Court reversed a lower court's decision to overturn the conviction of Peter Gruer. In 2018, he was found guilty of stabbing his wheelchair-bound landlord 17 times. Gruer appealed the conviction, arguing an excused juror's comments violated his right to a fair trial, but the Supreme Court disagreed. Gruer will continue serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Conservationists are calling on the public to help protect native seabirds after several of them were reportedly killed on Kauai. Stephanie Lum has the details.
It's an unfortunate but not uncommon sight.
We've had massacres there over the years.
You're seeing these birds dying needlessly.
On Wednesday, conservationist Andre Rain found 2 dead uaukani, wedge-tailed shearwater seabirds that appear to have been slaughtered. He just so happened to be returning to the spot on Kauai's Mahaulepu Heritage Trail, where he found 9 other dead uaukani on Saturday. He believes a feral cat or stray dog may be to blame.
So what we see, and unfortunately this is not an isolated incident, we see time and time again, is that these birds will just get hammered by introduced predators.
2 of the 11 dead birds were chicks. Rain says more young uaukani could be at risk now that 9 adult ones were killed.
What makes it really tragic at this time of year also is that when you get a bunch of adults being killed, you have a chick that's sitting in the burrow that's going to slowly starve to death because now its adults not coming back to feed it.
Rain adds uaukani are killed too often. He says a few weeks ago, 40 a'o, endangered Newell's shearwaters, were found dead near Allerton Beach.
We had one in 2019 where we had over 140 dead birds.
To prevent more killings, conservationists are reminding pet owners to keep their dogs on a leash, keep their cats indoors, and spay and neuter their animals.
We have far too many homeless animals in Hawaii. We don't need more kittens. We don't need more puppies unless you know that you for sure can provide them with a home.
You can also report dead birds or birds in distress by calling the Department of Land and Natural Resources at 808-973-9778. Stephanie Lum, Hawaii News Now.
State officials say they are not giving up on the 2026 Sentry Golf Tournament. They are now exploring hosting the event at another course on Maui. Earlier this week, the PGA Tour said the Sentry would not be held at Kapalua next year because of the drought and logistics. State Business and Tourism Director James Tokioka told Hawaii News Now that he has suggested the King Kamehameha Golf Club south of Wailuku as a possible alternate site. Tokioka said having the Sentry and the Sony Open back-to-back is important to the state and is more cost-effective.
And that equipment has to be shipped from the mainland. So if it's just the Sony paying for that, it's going to be a big burden on Sony. So if it went to another golf course in the state of Hawaii, it would just be a shift from one place to the other.
Tokioka says the state is already covering some costs for the tournament, and that funding could be shifted to another venue. The PGA has not responded to Tokioka's suggestion, and the King Kamehameha course leaders haven't been told about the idea. It's also unclear if there is time to get any alternative course in Hawaii ready by January. President Trump is heading back to Washington, D.C. after a second state visit to the U.K. Today, he met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer as the trip shifted from pomp and circumstance to trade and policy. Natalie Brand has the highlights from the White House.
President Trump and the First Lady left the United Kingdom after meeting today with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, both leaders stressing the close bond between the two nations. They inked a new tech partnership focused on energy and artificial intelligence, with several U.S. tech giants pledging billions of dollars in investments.
We're confirming our status as the first partners in science and technology, ready to define this century together.
We also are joining forces on quantum computing and nuclear power, a natural partnership for close allies.
The leaders also said they discussed shared goals of ending Russia's war on Ukraine as negotiations with Russian President Vladimir Putin have stalled.
He's let me down. He's really let me down.
We have to put extra pressure on Putin, and it's only when the president has put pressure on Putin that he's actually shown any inclination to move. So we have to ramp that pressure up.
And while they said they both want peace in the Middle East, President Trump acknowledged he doesn't see eye to eye with Starmer over recognizing a Palestinian state.
I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
During the news conference, President Trump also announced his administration is trying to regain control of Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan without giving details. The Taliban took over the base following the U.S. withdrawal in 2021.
One of the reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons.
The UK also announced plans to help build U.S. military aircraft, creating jobs in both countries as the leaders play up the long-standing economic and national security alliance. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Back here at home, Kaiser Permanente Hawaii workers represented by local unions are now voting on whether to authorize a strike. Dylan Ancheta has both sides.
More than 1,900 Kaiser Permanente Hawaii workers represented by Unite Here Local 5 are currently voting on an authorization to strike. This as their contracts end on September 30th.
At the center of their concerns is obtaining a wage that keeps up with Hawaii's high cost of living.
In general, it's been awful. We are just not putting up with what they're offering us. We feel that it's a slap in our face to us Kaiser workers.
They also want staffing levels to be increased across various departments.
Sometimes it can be very critical where if we're not staffed, we'll have to shut down a room, and it's very disappointing for some patients as well.
Kaiser's latest offer on September 12th includes raises totaling 20% over the 4 years of the contract. Workers would see a 6.5% bump in the first 2 years along with added benefits. Kaiser's minimum wage in Hawaii would bump up to $24 an hour, which is less than California but higher than other parts of the country. Ha'aheo Miller voted in favor of strike authorization, saying she believes the momentum is on their side.
My coworkers are ready. I know I am ready for this strike.
Miller does want to work for Kaiser in the long run and hopes they can come to an agreement.
I take pride in working for Kaiser. I want the best for Kaiser. I want the best for my patients. I don't want to have to jump from job to job.
In a statement, Kaiser Permanente said in part, "We remain focused on reaching an agreement that supports employees, maintains our position as a best place to work, and continues to ensure access to affordable, high-quality care for our members." They also said they've negotiated in good faith since May with the Alliance of Healthcare Unions, adding that allegations about staffing and care quality do not reflect the facts, and they often exceed mandated nurse-to-patient ratios and staffing standards.
Workers are also planning rallies at Kaiser Permanente locations across the islands this Friday. In Honolulu, Dylan and Chetam, Hawaii News Now.
Dylan, thank you. 2 common childhood vaccines are being examined by the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Erica Brown reports from Washington.
There was pushback during today's meeting of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee as the panel debated a new recommendation for the combined MMRV shot.
But if a parent wants to get a single dose, why are we taking away that option?
The proposal, children under 4 should get 1 shot for measles, mumps, and rubella, and then a separate one for varicella, better known as chickenpox.
This recommendation is going to create more confusion among the public.
Earlier this year, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired all the panel members and picked their replacements, some who share his vaccine skepticism. Thursday, the committee chairman defended the new group.
You have falsely been called anti-vaxxers. But your stance is not only pro-children, but also pro-science, pro-public health, and pro-vaccines.
Here on Capitol Hill, the fired CDC director told lawmakers she was pressured by Secretary Kennedy to rubber stamp the committee's recommendations without first considering the scientific evidence.
He just wanted blanket approval.
The panel is also debating changes to the hepatitis B vaccine recommendation.
Much of the data is considered pretty settled.
Dr. Jody Guest is the senior vice chair of the Department of Epidemiology at Emory University. She says these vaccines are safe and effective.
And there's not new evidence out there that we have been following that would show that you would want to change the guidance.
Dr. Guest also warns any changes could lead to health insurance companies limiting coverage. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up, a reaction is pouring in from the entertainment and political worlds after Jimmy Kimmel's abrupt suspension, the latest on the late-night drama. And a change in plans for the Moana Nui Akea voyage, why Hokulea and Hikianalia are adjusting their sailing schedule. Welcome back. Weather and safety concerns are forcing the Hokulea and Hikianalia to make a detour. The canoes will now sail directly from Rarotonga and the Cook Islands to Aotearoa, New Zealand. Visits to American Samoa, and Tonga are now postponed. They may be destinations in May or June of next year, weather permitting. We're hearing from a three-time world surfing champion who says Hawaiian Airlines denied his boards on a recent flight. Joel Tudor says both Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines would not accept his longboards as checked baggage on a flight Tuesday from San Diego to Honolulu. Tudor says he's been flying with Hawaiian for 35 years and had never had a problem checking in his boards until now.
And even given the amount of experience I have in this, the amount of times I've flown and the decades I've used the same carriers, it was just like, oh yeah, I got kick rocks. And it sucks, but you know, it's not going to stop me. I'll be coming back over in a couple weeks. I got to restructure and figure out how I can get my bags there.
A Hawaiian Airlines spokesperson tells us the carrier's policy allows surfboards up to 9 feet 7 inches from nose to tail. They said Tudor's board bag exceeded that limit. Hawaiian Air also says there are no exceptions at this time, but the airline will continue looking at the issue, acknowledging the importance of surfing in Hawaii's culture. Jimmy Kimmel's fate at ABC is up in the air after the network indefinitely suspended the late-night host over his comments about the murder of Charlie Kirk. Gwen Baumgartner has the latest from Los Angeles.
Trump must go now!
Jimmy Kimmel is off the air for now, and the news brought a small group of protesters to the studio where he tapes his long-running late-night show. The controversy erupted over comments he made Monday night.
He hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
ABC took action after the nation's largest local television company took a stand. Nexstar Media Group announced it was pulling Kimmel from the 28 ABC affiliates it operates.
ABC also got an earful from the head of the FCC over Monday's broadcast. Chairman Brendan Carr says late night TV needs a wake-up call.
I think there's a lot of commentary on late night having shifted dramatically over the last 10 years. It used to be that they would go for laugh lines, and it's shifted to going for applause lines.
Thursday, President Trump dismissed free speech concerns and celebrated Kimmel's suspension.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago.
On Capitol Hill, several Democratic lawmakers said they do see a threat to free speech.
When the head of the FCC is talking openly about taking away the broadcast license, then that is the government trying to exercise censorship.
Kimmel's contract with the network is up in May of next year. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, I'll give you a look at our full first alert forecast. A beautiful day out there and no tsunami threat. The details coming up.
And let's give you a live look at Kilauea right now. Some bubbling at Hale crater. You can see a tiny glow. Scientists keep a close eye on potential vigorous lava fountaining for episode 33. USGS tells us precursory vent overflows and gas pistoning could indicate building of lava in the system. Fountaining could happen later today or tomorrow.
Now, First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
And of course, we've been watching the VOG forecast very carefully. If we do see episode 33 of the eruption of Kilauea in Hale crater, you will likely see a lot of the VOG off to the west and southwest of Hawaii Island. You can see the actual VOG forecast as we're going throughout this evening into early Friday morning. The VOG, of course, staying off south of the rest of the island chain, but still seeing hazy conditions along a majority of Hawaii Island. So we're going to continue to monitor that very closely. Again, there's no tsunami threat after that large earthquake that happened just off of the Kamchatka Peninsula near Russia. It was a magnitude 7.8. If you remember at the end of July where we had that 8.8 magnitude earthquake that caused the tsunami warning for us here, this one is causing no tsunami threat. A beautiful day outside as well. We're seeing a little bit of cloud cover as you're looking west, but overall it's pretty sunny out there. Breaking down your overall weather pattern, I want to give you a close look at our island by island forecast. This, of course, is for Aloha Friday. This week has just flown by. Showers are likely, partly sunny out there over on Kauai. Here on Oahu, 89 in town, 90 degrees in Kapolei, 83 over in Kaneohe. Maui County, mostly sunny and breezy out there. Moving down to the island of Maui, 89 in Kahului and 90 degrees in Kihei. Pretty gusty out there. A little bit hazy over the Kona coast of Hawaii Island, especially with the bubbling over near Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. 85 in the park for a high temperature tomorrow, 86 in Hilo. The northern portions of the Big Island will be mostly sunny and windy. A quick look at our first alert radar and satellite. We are seeing, at least over the last several hours, a few showers moving in. We've got some upper level clouds over the eastern half of the state, and there's this very weak front that's off to our northeast. It's going to continue moving further southward as we're going into Friday, giving us a better chance for some showers. You can see as we're going forward in our futurecasts, this specifically is the European weather model. As we're going into tomorrow afternoon, a better chance, excuse me, for showers out there. That's for Maui County and for Hawaii Island. Saturday, we're also seeing a few showers as well. So again, as we're going into the weekend, a better chance for some enhanced trade wind showers, better chance for rainfall, but really not going to be a washout out there. Our winds outside right now, east northeasterlies around 15 to 20 miles per hour, a little bit breezier over in Kahului. Our surf and shoreline forecast, north facing shores around 2 to 4, east facing shores around 3 to 5, west and south facing shores pretty small, but still a few box jellyfish out on south facing shores. We are tracking a moderate south swell. It's going to be moving in as we're going to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That should be moving away as we're going into the beginning of next week. So here's our 7-day forecast. Mahalo to Andy for sending this background photo in. Again, it's sunny out there, a few showers possible. As we're going into the weekend, however, with that weak front and the moisture associated with the front, it's going to be moving in throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A little bit breezier out there, easterlies between 15 to 20 miles per hour. And again, we are going to be seeing better chance for showers out there this weekend. Typical trades as we're going into the beginning of next week. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back. Well, this is something else. Zippy's Kahala turned into something you don't see every day last night. A nightclub. The diner teamed up with Nectar Hard Seltzer to host the launch of Nectar Radio, a new digital music platform. Local DJ, Subtoll, and headliner Mr. Carmack kept the crowd moving at the first ever live music event inside of Zippy's in nearly 60 years. I'm curious, what was the last one we saw? The one night only pop-up brought food, music, and culture together under one roof. Looks like a fun time.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. And check this out. A deputy in Washington State was tasked with an unusual assignment last week when he discovered a dog giving birth. The sheriff's office says the deputy took the matter into his hands, offering gentle pets and plenty of reassurance. The Boston Terrier safely delivered 2 puppies that were small enough to fit in the palm of his hand.
Always love seeing positive news.
Positive news, and then Zippy's is a nightclub. It's a good stories today.
Finally, this next story is bananas.
A zoo in North Carolina is dealing with an escape artist.
This little guy is bringing new meaning to the phrase monkey business. This monkey is on the loose in a North Carolina town after escaping from his enclosure at the zoo. The owner of Zootastic said the monkey was able to get out of the zoo by pulling wire bars apart and just sliding through.
Wow.
A witness caught video of the monkey climbing power lines, and Brown said he believed that if the monkey is not found, it would find its way back to Zootastic. Hopefully, go back to the man in the yellow hat.
Yeah, Curious George reference. That's an interesting story. Was he climbing on the power lines?
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Well, he just up to some mischief, right? See you again, first at 4. Stay with us on air and online.